Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 78 based on novel. So let's start. Tang Wulin's group shared looks of dismay, their hearts filling with apprehension. In the past, Elder CAI had proclaimed they needed to become battle armor masters before the age of 20 in order to enter the inner court. They finally understood where her outrageous demand had come from. She was the headmaster of the outer court. As such, she had the authority to impose such requirements on them. Elder CAI wore a mask of indifference. Shrek Academy has never forced its students to cultivate, nor is our education compulsory. There is an annual minor exam and a major one every 3 years. Failing the minor exam twice will result in expulsion. So, the number of students in each grade will decrease in the next 3 years. For those in the 6th grade who have yet to meet the graduation requirements, I hope you will all work hard and fulfill them before you turn 35. As for our new students, you have the option to relax and take it easy, but then you might not be here in 3 years. Of course, Shrek Academy will not hold back in your education. You can ask for guidance from your teacher and make use of the numerous facilities on campus. Naturally, you must exchange contributions points to utilize them. You new students will soon realize the importance of contribution points. Now, on the eve of the new academic year, let us celebrate Shrek's generations of honor and glory, and to many more generations of magnificence. But whether you'll be part of the glory or left on the sidelines in the future will be up to you. That's it? Isn't her speech a bit too short? And here Tang Wulin had thought the opening ceremony at East Sea Academy had been brief. It never crossed his mind Shrek Academies would make record time. Even so, he learned many new things from Elder CAI's speech. Shrek Academy's elimination system lived up to its fame. Anyone who wanted to graduate from Shrek would have to put in blood, sweat, and tears, progressing step by step until the day they stood at the World Summit. I have to work hard. Tang Wulin subconsciously clenched his fists. With the ceremony concluded, the teachers in the air split up, each heading to their respective classes. The eyes of Tang Wulin and his friends shimmered when they saw Wu Zhongkong and Shen Yi flying toward them. So Teacher Wu and Teacher Shen are our teachers. Wait, what? Why is she flying here too? Their smiles stiffened. Someone they never wanted to interact with again was soaring through the skies in the Four's direction. Her lips curled into a mocking smile as she locked her eyes on them. No way. No way. No way. Yet there was nothing they could do to stop her. I will be personally managing this year's new class. Beside me are my assistant teachers, Teacher Shen Yi and Teacher Wu Zhongkong. Now to the classroom. The moment these words left Elder CAI's mouth, Tang Wulin's eyes went wide, Xie Xie's jaw dropped, Xu Xiaoyuan gasped, and Ji Yu's lips began to quiver. What? What is this? They had never expected Elder CAI to do such a thing. Just how far will she go to trouble us? How much does she hate us? After Elder CAI finished speaking, she flew toward the school building, leading the way for the rest of the class. Unknown to Tang Wulin and the others, Elder CAI's lips curved into a sly smile, her eyes shimmering with satisfaction. There was a reason she hadn't lost any sleep over Ji Yu's rejection. As the headmaster of the outer court, she had them in the palm of her hands from the moment she stopped them from entering the inner court. That was why she stipulated that they would have to become battle armor masters before the age of 20 just to enter the inner court. Not even Shueisha could go against her words in this case. The division of labor between elders of the Sea God's Pavilion were clear and absolute, and the outer court was Elder CAI's jurisdiction. Her schemes are cunning and her foresight is deep. Tang Wulin lamented. Compared to this veteran, they were the most naive of rookies. The 3 teachers landed further ahead, leaving the students to hurry after them. Perhaps Tang Wulin and the others were relegated to the back of the congregation due to their working student status, even though they had initially been at the front. The school building felt different from how it did during the exam. Although the 4 felt depressed from Elder CAI's presence because they were now Shrek Academy students and their previous instructor, Wu Zhongkong, would still be teaching them, their situation couldn't be too bad. They entered the outer court's classroom for the first grade, which was on the first floor. It was a lecture theatre large enough to hold 300 people. Elder Cai ascended the platform and stood behind the lectern. On the side, Shinyi said, "Students, please take your seat according to what I announce. Tang Wulin, row 1 seat 1. Row 1 seat 1? I'm the first one called?" Tang Wulin suppressed his surprise as he scrambled to his seat. Row 1 seat 1 was neither on the left edge, nor the right, but dead center. GUU, row 1, seat 2. This seat was on Tang Wulin's right. Xie, row 1, seat 3. And this was on Tang Wulin's left. Xu Xiaoyan, row 1, seat 4. She sat next to GUU's other side. Their seats were the closest to the lectern, no more than 5 meters apart. They were practically within arm's reach of the lectern and in full view of whoever stood there. Each of them pulled odd faces once they took their seats. A dark cloud settled over Xie, and Xu Xiaoyan was pale as a ghost. On the other hand, GUU seemed to handle herself better, maintaining a semblance of calm with only her brows furrowed. They all knew Elder Cai had arranged for them to sit in this spot. Because they had offended the head instructor before school started, there would be hard days in store for them. Xie shot a look at Tang Wulin, as if asking for the next course of action. Tang Wulin gave him a slight nod, acknowledging his concerns but affirming their lack of control over the situation. Apart from waiting to see her plans unfold, there was nothing else they could do. With rest of the students seated, the lecture theatre was only 1/3 full. Elder Cai, there should be 101 students in this year's new class, and I've counted 101 students. Everyone is present, Shinyi reported. Elder Cai didn't pay any mind to Tang Wulin and company, indifferently saying, "I believe you've all heard what I said at the opening ceremony, so I won't be repeating any of that. Here at Shrek Academy, your teachers will show you the door, but it is up to you to step through it. Your success here depends on your own efforts." Well, that's enough about that. Today you will be familiarizing yourselves with how things are done here. Teacher Shen will explain the rules and education style in a moment. Teacher Shen, if you will. Elder Cai made to leave immediately after finishing her speech. Before she exited the lecture theatre's doors, however, she flicked a glance at Tang Wulin's group. All 4 of them let out a collective sigh of relief once she left. Without a doubt, it was better for them if she wasn't present. In fact, it would be best if she wasn't managing the class of new students. Since Elder Cai left the lecture hall, Shinyi replaced her at the lectern and swept her gaze across all the students. On behalf of Shrek Academy, I welcome you. Everything I'm about to say concerns your future studies, so take note. It's important that new students like you know these things, and I will not repeat myself. All of you are now members of Shrek Academy. Whatever you do in the outside world represents Shrek Academy. If you overstep your bounds, the Academy will punish you. Punishment will be completely unrelated to whatever the Federation decides. Her voice grew somber as the last few words left her mouth. Shrek Academy, and by extension, Shrek City, was a powerful independent organization in the Doluo continent. Laws and punishments were determined solely at Shrek's discretion. The Federation had no jurisdiction over it. Each one of you has a student identification card with your information and contribution points stored in it. I'm sure you're all curious about what you can use contribution points for. Simply put, they can be used for anything in the outer court. You can exchange them for cultivation resources, spirit souls, time in special facilities on campus, personal guidance from a teacher, and entrance to the Spirit Ascension platform. Working students, in particular, need them to buy food. Within reason, you can exchange them for anything and everything you want. You're all probably curious as to how you can obtain more points. Let me get this out of the way first. You cannot purchase contribution points with money. You have to complete jobs for the Academy in order to earn contribution points. There is a large variety of jobs for you to choose from. For example, you have physical labor, metal forging, mecha design, mecha making, mecha maintenance, and so on. As long as you are able to complete the job, you will be awarded contribution points. They can also be transferred between students. Private transactions will not receive the Academy's protection, but you can choose to make such transactions through the Academy's public platform at a small cost. The points will be valid as long as Shrek Academy still stands, and what you spend them on is up to you. Of course, if you're expelled, you will be given an opportunity to spend all your points before being forced to leave. Classes are only held in the morning. You are free to do whatever you want in the afternoon and evening. You can study on campus in any way you wish or even go out into the city. Anything is fine as long as you do not miss your morning classes. Apart from special circumstances and the approval of a teacher, tardiness will not be excused. Instances in which you are late to class will be considered absences. Anyone who is absent 3 times will face expulsion. Continuing on, you are not allowed to bring anything bought with Federation money onto campus. Anyone who is caught doing so will be fined contribution points 10 times the price of the items. You can try your luck in smuggling things in, but I wouldn't suggest it. Some places on campus do accept Federation money, but as I'm sure those of you who have been there already know, they are very expensive. Those of you who are working students will have it harder. You will have to pay for your own meals. No one will stop you from going off campus to eat, but I advise that you consider how much time would be wasted if you did. Time is the most important thing for students here. If you fall behind, you risk being expelled. There's one thing you should know that Elder CAI didn't mention earlier. In Shrek Academy's elimination system, anyone in the bottom 5 of the yearly minor exams will be expelled. Shrek Academy only raises monsters. You could spend your time here in a leisurely manner, but then your stay would only last a year. A list of optional courses will be passed around later. Some of those classes are free to normal students while others require payment. Working students, however, will have to pay for any optional classes they choose to take. All students will need to exchange contribution points for the resources used in these classes. That is all you need to know for now, so we will stop here for today. You can go familiarize yourselves with the campus or perhaps try doing some jobs to earn points. Oh, right, be careful of point deductions. If any of you reach negative 1,000 points, you will be expelled. Shinyi explained how Shrek Academy worked as if she were reading from a script, but every word stabbed at Tang Wulin's heart. The curriculum seemed easy, and classes only took place in the morning, yet the elimination and contribution point systems pushed students to strive for the best. Anyone who didn't spend their afternoons and evenings improving themselves risked falling behind. They also had to find time to do jobs and earn contribution points. In truth, they had a packed schedule. It was clear to Tang Wulin that competition here was fierce. Shrek Academy was far more challenging than East Sea Academy, and he could only rely on himself to get what he needed. Even so, there was nothing he could do but work hard. Tang Wulin's eyes shone with confidence. Now that he was a 5th-ranked blacksmith, he and his teammates wouldn't have to worry about contribution points. He only told Xie Xie to improve in his second profession that morning because he feared that the others would become dependent on him for contribution points, letting their second profession stagnate. They needed to be involved in the creation of their own battle armor to be able to use it. Before they could do that, they had to improve in their respective professions and reach the 4th rank. To forge 2-word battle armor, however, they had to reach the 5th rank. This requirement was not up for negotiation. The greatest benefit that Shrek Academy provided the 4 of them was the broadening of their horizons. Here, they could truly develop themselves as future battle armor masters. All right, Shinyi said. I've finished explaining the important stuff. Let's move on to the topic of this morning's class. She's jumping straight into lecturing? Things move so quickly at Shrek. Today's first topic is Battle Armor Masters. Shinyi's words immediately caught everyone's attention. What is a Battle Armor Master? What does it mean to become one? Every single Soul Master dreamed of becoming a Battle Armor Master. Regardless of where they came from, each and every student here was a genius at their previous academy, and it was obvious where their goals lay. I'm sure some of you are confused as to why the first class is about Battle Armor Masters, she continued. Well, that's because you already learned the basics before you came here. If you hadn't, you wouldn't have passed the entrance exam. In light of that, we won't be covering them here. For the next 5, 10, 15, or maybe even 20 years, your goal is to become a battle armor master. As all of you heard from Elder CAI's speech during the opening ceremony, you will only be able to stay in the outer court until 35 years of age. If you fail to become a one-word battle armor master before you turn 35, you will be sent home without graduating. If you do manage it, however, you will be able to graduate from the outer court. This is the standard for all of Shrek Academy's students. Let me tell you all right now, only 33% of outer court students graduate. In other words, a third of all outer court students have what it takes to become a battle armor master. If you've already laid down a sturdy foundation for your secondary professions before coming here, then congratulations. It will be easier for you to progress from here on out. However, if you haven't, you better put more effort into improving in your profession. Anyone capable of becoming a one-word battle armor master at 25 years old or younger will be eligible to join the inner court. If you don't pass the inner court exam, then you will just graduate as an outer court student and leave. Unlike what you all may think, you don't have that much time here. She paused, letting her words hang in the air for just a moment. Now let's move on to the topic of battle armor masters. Just what is a battle armor master? She asked. I'm confident that most of you will say they are just more powerful mecha pilots, yes. A wave of subconscious nods spread throughout the class. Then you are all gravely mistaken. If all of you believe battle armor masters are merely that, then you are all gravely mistaken. Battle armor masters are completely different from mecha pilots, Shani firmly stated. A mecha pilot puts clothes on their person, but a battle armor master puts clothes on their martial soul because at their core, they are still soul masters. This is the fundamental difference between the two. Let me emphasize this. One-word battle armor masters are simply the beginning. Only at 2 words, when you're one with your armor and it becomes an extension of your body and martial soul, are you truly considered a battle armor master. It is for this reason that you must fuse your battle armor with your martial soul first. They must resonate with each other, attract each other until they become whole. There are 4 levels of battle armor: 1-word, 2-word, 3-word, and 4-word battle armor. The levels may not seem like much, but the gap between each one is immeasurably deep. If you want to become a battle armor master, you must pick a secondary profession relating to building the armor. At the moment, the most efficient professions are mecha maker and mecha designer. Mecha makers carve circuits into their battle armor, easing the fusion of battle armor and martial soul. Designers create battle armor that perfectly complements their martial soul, as you know yourself better than anyone. I suggest you all choose one of these 2. Of course, you're all free to choose to become a blacksmith or a mecha mechanic instead. Blacksmithing is both demanding and strenuous, and forging armor is much more difficult. However, it is the most appropriate profession for creating powerful battle armors. Not one person can reach the peak of all 4 professions, so choose wisely. Don't forget that you also need others to help you finish creating your armor, so consider how to best earn contribution points in order to commission them. If their work is good, I suggest befriending them and helping each other out. Personal relationships is a part of one's strength too. The strength your battle armor can exert depends on your compatibility with it. Perfect unity can boost your power by 20 soul ranks. The requirement to become a one-word battle armor master is 5 soul rings and the 3rd rank in your second profession. Not only that, the metal must be 1000 refined, the design drafted by a Grandmaster designer, and the armor assembled by a Grandmaster maker. Its compatibility rate must be at least 60%, and at least 9 pieces of armor are needed for it to be considered battle armor. Tang Wulin, Xie Xie, Ji Yu Yu, and Xu Xiaoyan attentively listened to Xinyi's lengthy explanations, not daring to miss a single word about how to become a battle armor master. Tang Wulin also realized at that moment just how much more Elder CAI demanded from them than normal students. Normal students had to become battle armor masters by 25 years old, but Tang Wulin and his team members were only given until they were 20 years old. That 5-year difference was huge. Reaching soul rank 50 was challenging enough. They needed to increase 20 soul ranks in 6 years. The fact that soul power cultivation slowed with progression only made things worse. Yet apart from that, they also had to advance in their secondary profession so they could actually make their battle armor. They really had their work cut out for them. The time waited for no one. Tang Wulin lamented inwardly. He couldn't waste even a second of his life for the next 6 years. Morning classes didn't have breaks in between, just one lecture after another. After classes finished, Tang Wulin pondered over Shen Yi's explanation of battle armor while they walked towards the dining hall. "Captain, what are you going to eat?" Xie asked. "Huh?" Tang Wulin snapped out of his daydream, surprised to find they were in the dining hall already. The tantalizing aroma of food assaulted his senses and his stomach immediately growled in response. Hunger overwhelmed his mind. It was at this moment Tang Wulin faced his greatest crisis of the day, lunch. He only had 100 contribution points, and that was nowhere near enough to fill him. Despite the mountain of food he ate the day before, his appetite was just as large today. Even the leftover black steamed buns he had for breakfast could only temporarily tide him over and save him a few points. 100 points was enough to feed 20 people, but he could eat for far more than 20. Recalling the blacksmithing job he accepted, Tang Wulin said, "You guys go eat first. I'll figure something out for myself." Then he turned and walked towards the dining hall's door, internally making some calculations. Once he completed it, he would have the points necessary to eat. His friends turned to look at each other. "Where is Captain going?" Xie asked doubtfully. "Why do I feel like he's up to something?" Xu Xiaoyan muttered. "Well, let's just eat first." Standing next to the door, Tang Wulin retrieved a board from his storage device, wrote a few words, then held it in front of himself. 4th rank blacksmith capable of 1st grade 1000 refining. I'm short on points, so I'd trade 1st grade 1000 refining for a year's worth of meals. Anyone who is interested, please treat me to a meal. Xie, who was walking over to see what Tang Wulin was up to, bolted back the moment he read the board. Boss really is willing to do anything for food. But isn't this a bit too embarrassing? Why is he selling his body to everyone? Xu Xiaoyan giggled. Captain doesn't care about anything as long as he can eat. Let's quickly eat lunch then leave. Besides, after his display yesterday, I don't think anyone is going to take him up on his offer. Imagine the cost to feed him for a year. It would be way more expensive than all of his 1st grade 1000 refinings. A month might work, but Captain's stomach is just a bottomless pit. Watching Tang Wulin advertise himself at the door, Gu frowned. She lowered her head and ate with renewed vigor, her mind seemingly occupied. An unending stream of people passed through the door during this lunchtime. Many of them noticed Tang Wulin, but not a single person showed any interest. Tang Wulin had chosen to act modestly and omitted the fact that he was 5th rank blacksmith. Yet, considering his age and how he looked no more than 15 years old, no one would believe him anyway. It was almost unheard of for there to be such a young 4th rank blacksmith. In Shrek Academy, mecha designers or makers were as common as clouds. On the other hand, blacksmiths were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Just as Shen Yi said, it was hard to become a blacksmith, and even harder to climb up the ranks. Most importantly, blacksmiths took longer to progress through the first 3 ranks compared to designers and makers. Once mecha designers and makers reached a certain amount of soul power, their growth relied solely on their comprehension. Of course, progressing past the 3rd rank becomes exponentially harder. Blacksmithing was a whole other story. Understanding the metal was not enough. No, a blacksmith had to steadily build themselves up to the next level. They needed to wield their hammer every day, devoting their heart and soul to the craft. With his innate divine strength and comprehension level, Tang Wulin was a naturally gifted blacksmith. He started forging at 6 years old. Now, 7 years later, he was coincidentally able to harness the power of the Golden Dragon King to spirit refine at 13 years old. This feat was unprecedented in all of history. This video will end here.